Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Sunday, April the 14th, race number 8 at Oaklawn Park. It is the prestigious Grade 1 Apple Blossom Handicap for fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. And for our loyal DRFBets race of the day viewers, you get your money back promo all month long. Bet $7 to win on any horse in any race of the day in April. And if your horse runs second or third, you get your money back. Learn more at promos.drf.com. Let's meet the field for the Grade 1 Apple Blossom. You can access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Elate, who returned off a lengthy injury-induced layoff to run a good second in the Grade 2 Azeri behind Midnight Bisou, who she will face once again in Sunday's Apple Blossom. I thought Elate ran just fine off the layoff, Matt, losing a little bit of ground on the far turn. I just thought Midnight Bisou was better on the day. The question I have for you is this: is Midnight Bisou simply a superior horse at a mile and a 16th, or is Elate going to move up by leaps and bounds second off the layoff?
I think it could be a little bit of both. I expect her to move forward here second off the bench, but there is a real scenario where Midnight Bisou is just a better horse at 8.5 furlongs than Elate is. Elate's the kind of horse that you get her out to 9, you get her out to 10 furlongs. I think that's when she does her best. And Midnight Bisou, it feels like the longer they go, the worse it is for her. So maybe this is just a perfect storm where Midnight Bisou is just going to be better than Elate at this distance. But I do expect a pretty significant step forward here, second off the layoff for her.
Let's take a look at the number 2, Chocolate Martini, a graded stakes winner, Grade 1 placed in the Coaching Club American Oaks, but a horse that has finished behind Midnight Bisou several times already, behind Wonder Godot, who's in this field several times already. Came off the layoff with a nice solid win at Oaklawn Park for trainer Tom Amoss, and the runner-up returned to win a similar non-winners of 2 other than with an 89 Beyer speed figure. Chocolate Martini, to me, is the kind of filly that's going to need a lot of pace up front.
And the other thing, too, I mean, I just look at her. You're right, that runner-up came back and won next out with an 89. But that kind of figure, that's basically what we're dealing with Chocolate Martini. She's never eclipsed an 89 in her career. That's her career best fig. And to me, that's not remotely close enough to get the job done in a spot like this. Maybe she's that kind of horse that can come with the belated bid and just sort of round out your exotics, but I don't view her as a win contender.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race. I think you and I might disagree with the pace projector here. It favors horses on or near the early lead. I agree with that. I don't think the pace is going to be overly fast, but I don't think Wonder Godot is going to be the one making the pace. I think the number 3, Escape Clause, should take advantage of being the speed nearest the inside and go right to the lead. And how can you knock a horse that's won 20 of 30 lifetime starts, dropped in class last time out, and whistled?
Yeah, she's a professional racehorse, and it's a great story. She's a Manitoba bred. They decided to go down, bring her to Santa Anita. They won a graded stakes race. I agree. The pace may be on the more moderate side. If I'm Tyler Bays, you have one job, in my opinion. That's to go. Send this thing to the front. Say, you know what? If we're going to lose, we're going to go out on our own terms. We're not going to sit off of a target and let something kind of crazy happen. I think her best game is using that speed early on. The question becomes, do you think she is of this class? Because depending on how you want to view things, 2 starts back could have been sort of the exposing moment for her, where maybe she's not as good as a Marley's Freedom and a Cell Court and a Paradise Woods. I'm going to look at it and say I think she's better going 2 turns as opposed to the 7/8 1-turn configuration. And if she's got a major tactical advantage on Midnight Bisou and Elate, I think she's interesting.
But she's all heart, she's a win machine, and she certainly deserves an opportunity at Grade 1 glory in this race. I wonder if we'll see a little bit more speed from an outsider. The 4, Viva Forever, who is stretching out after finishing second in one of those little starter stakes races at Gulfstream Park. Now, the winner of that race came back to win a very weak starter optional claimer by, get this, 19 1/4 lengths, earning a 95 Beyer speed figure. This horse was no match for Midnight Bisou, was Viva Forever 2 starts back, but I wonder if she shows a little bit of early interest. It's just tough to make her in this spot.
Yeah, and I guess this is another one of those things where you need to take a look at it and see what do the connections really want out of this, because this is a grade one, and if you somehow hit the board here, that makes her as a brood mare. As far as a win contender is concerned, I think the only way she could win is if they were aggressive with her. Having said that, I think that would end up being a bit of an issue for her. I don't think she'd be able to do that.
Wonder Godot had a nice year last year. Despite only winning 2 races, she won 2 pretty good ones. 2/3 of the Canadian Triple Crown, including the hallowed Queen's Plate. She was also second in the Woodbine Oaks and the Kentucky Oaks. A pretty enviable record, to be sure. She made her first start off the layoff at a mile, a distance I think that's a little bit short for Wonder Godot. I thought she ran okay, but considering the quality of that field, am I wrong to be a little bit disappointed that she didn't seal the deal, or was simply Mark Casse using that race as a prep?
Well, again, I think it can be a little bit of both. I mean, you look at the pace situation, probably was not to her advantage that day, but also when you take a look at the circumstances and the class level, I think she's supposed to win that race, even regardless of the fact that it was probably nothing more than a means to an end. I have long maintained she's better on synth and turf. She's run some big races on dirt. I'm not going to argue with that, but I think she is far superior on those kind of surfaces as opposed to the main track. I hope sooner than later they get her over to those.
Midnight Bisou, as we mentioned, is a specialist at 1 1/16. A perfect 6.46 at this distance. And I think for a multiple Grade 1 stakes winner, she's a little bit underrated. She ran a good 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, a distance a little bit too far for her. And then in the Houston Ladies Classic, she showed a lot of guts and determination, because there was a second at the 3/16 pole, Matt. I thought she was beat, and she was able to just dig it out, grind it out, and show enough heart to get it done. Last time out in the Azeri, she got a great ride from Mike Smith, but she got it done over a late, and this is her distance again. Where do you think Mike's going to have her? I love this outside post position. I think they're going to try to keep Elate hemmed in and try to get the jump on her this time around.
No, I agree with that, especially if you believe the pace projector. Let's say, however it shakes down, whether it's the 3, the 4, or the 5 that want to be forwardly placed, you're going to have Elate probably sit that pocket sort of position. And if you're Mike Smith on Midnight Bisou, I think you just box her in for as long as possible and then turn him for home. You're out into the clear. You tip out, you go on with your run. I agree with you. She's rock solid. She's done nothing wrong throughout her career. She's never been out of the money in 13 lifetime starts. I think the reason, and you brought up that she's a little bit disrespected as a Grade 1 winner, there's a part of me that wonders if it is simply because I think at least as a 3-year-old, it was pretty clear that she wasn't as good as a filly like the one that won the Breeders' Cup, Monomoy Girl, and they ran into each other time and time again. And also the 1 1/8, that's kind of the bread and butter distance for this division. And unfortunately for her, that feels like it's just a little bit far. If we were looking way down the road, I'd love to see her in the filly and mare sprint. That's another story for another day. But right now, she deserves to be one of, if not the outright favorite for this race.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 1 Apple Blossom. I think Bill Mott's going to have Elate ready to go second off the layoff. She might have to overcome being boxed in down inside, and she might have to overcome running at a distance that is a bit short for her. But just her class, I think, is going to carry her through. And she just ran such a huge race in the personal engine last year. It was a shame that she had to go to the sidelines after that race. An important start for Elate to prove that she can still run, in my opinion. You're going with escape clause, hoping that she can control the pace, because listen, if they leave her alone out there, she's got enough class to win. She is a win machine.
Yeah, she's just a nice horse. I like everything about her. And also with this race, you know, I guess of the two, I prefer Elate over Midnight Bisou, just because I do think Elate might have a little bit more natural ability, but who knows if she can still run. But the other piece is those two horses are going to be 4 to 5 and even money.
Right.
I think Escape Clause, potentially with the tactical advantage, might be in that 7 to 2, 4 to 1 range. I'll take a shot with her there.
316 for Matt, 163 for me in the Grade 1 Apple Blossom. It's your Sunday DRFBets race of the day. Remember the race of the day promo that we've got going all April. Bet $7 to on any horse to win in any race of the day in April. If your horse runs second or third, you get your money back. Promos.drf.com is where you need to go for all the details. An approximate post time for the Apple Blossom, 4:42 Central. Good luck.